Hey everyone, and welcome back to the EdgeVerse Techcast. We're glad that you chose to join us for another episode focused on sharing valuable information on NXP software, tools, and enablement. I'm one of your co-hosts, Kyle Dando, and today's topic comes up constantly in our conversations with customers.
And that would be security. And before anybody hits pause thinking, uh-oh, this is going to get heavy, stick with us, because today is all about turning security from something that feels intimidating into something that feels doable and honestly, even exciting. We're seeing security move from a nice to have to a non-negotiable requirement across every application. Industrial, automotive, healthcare, you name it. And we've got the perfect guest to help break it all down.
Absolutely, Bridgette. Joining us today is Arnold Brain, a software security architect at NXP. Arnold, welcome to the EdgeVerse Techcast. Before we jump in, why don't you take a minute just to provide a quick intro to our listeners, who you are and what keeps you busy when you're not thinking about security.
As you already introduced, my name is Arnold, and I'm originally born and raised in Belgium. Recently, I relocated to the sunny Barcelona in Spain, where I'll be joining my new colleagues from TT Tech Auto, right, from the new acquisition that we just done. And I've been with NXP for around 6 years. It's been an amazing experience so far, honestly. I think I speak for many engineers around the world that in my free time, I like to tinker with, take apart, and create things.
Okay. As a quick follow-up, you mentioned that you're tearing things apart, you're tinkering. What's the last thing that you did that was sort of fun?
So yeah, I think most notably, I like designing custom keyboards. I like putting things together in that sense. And so recently I took down a keyboard and it had some NXP hardware, unexpectedly, but it did have some. So yeah, that's quite a fun story to be able to tell my friends.
Oh, very cool. Well, Arnold, we are delighted to have a security architect on the podcast. This is 2026 bingo card goals for us. But let's start broad. Beyond guest starring on podcasts, what have been your top priorities at NXP?
Yeah, so basically before my time as an architect, because recently joined the team, I was mainly looking, into innovative ideas and topics regarding security. Basically topics like distributed ledger technologies, also known as blockchain, right? Buzzword. Recovery and damage control, which is more of like, how can we recover from an incident? And then most prominently, my work was in ease of use of security features, where I look into what I could do to help ease our customers' experience when it comes to security on our platforms.
That's right, Arnold. That's where you and I first met. You were helping us on the VS Code team. You did a great job. You laid out all the things that can be complicated when dealing with security, and you've given us a lot of great guidance on how we can improve the VS Code extension. I think the listeners are going to see some of that start to come out this year, 2026.
That makes me very happy already. Okay, Arnold, fast forward to today. What are you focused on now?
As I mentioned recently, I moved internally to join a large group in our Competence Center for Cryptography and Security, which is called the Security Architecture Team. What keeps me and the rest of my peers busy is designing the security in our up-and-coming products, because as you know, security is always changing and evolving. My area of work is with our microcontrollers mainly, but my team is busy with microprocessors, also the automotive space. Mine is mainly focused in microcontrollers for our healthcare segment, which is a very fulfilling segment of work.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of focus on security in the healthcare segments. I'm sure you're extremely busy, and you're at the center of security at NXP. Excellent. Bridgette, that's why we have this guy on with us. Bridgette mentioned earlier that security has been on our podcast episodes all the time. We've found from our other guests that this requirement is becoming absolutely necessary in every product that ships. So how would you categorize the biggest security requirements that are facing embedded developers today?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things happening in the world of security all the time. You could divide it in many ways, but I think in my day-to-day work, I consider three main big categories. That would be first, platform security, which is making sure that everything starts from a trusted foundation. Secondly, your application security, to protect the software running on a device during its operational life. And finally, you cannot forget this because it's a big topic, compliance, to ensure that our customers' products can meet industry standards, regulations. and also certification requirements.
Okay, I want to take a quick pause here because that was extremely helpful. So, one, platform security, two, application security, and three, compliance. That's a great mental model for our listeners.
Yeah, really simple. Speaking of compliance, Bridgette, I think CRA is having a moment right now.
CRA is definitely having a moment.
Arnold, we joke because CRA has been a topic on many of our podcasts, and we'll jump back into that later. But can you do a quick follow-up of those three categories that you mentioned for security? If you had to choose, which one of those is your favorite? What do you like to spend the most time on?
Yeah, so my favorite, I would say, is platform security. I think it's one of the most satisfying of them all, seeing your device boot after setting up all the registers correctly, inserting your key material properly, and then uploading your secure binary. I think for many people, that is the scariest part, but I can assure you that we at NXP, we've done everything possible to make it as easy as possible with our tooling and collaterals. And as you mentioned earlier, it might get even easier sooner. So I suggest to keep an eye out for that one.
Good teaser. So I love that you said scariest for some people because honestly, that's what we hear, but also what we're trying to change. So that's your favorite. Now, what about NXP's favorite? Actually, scratch that. We don't want to play favorites when it comes to security. Let's walk through how NXP addresses each category, starting with platform security. What's exciting there, Arnold?
Yes, platform security, as I mentioned, is secure boot, secure debug, your keys, and so on. And at NXP, we've packed our products full of puffs, UDFs, and so on. That will help you with those use cases. Then another platform feature is your secure encrypted storage, for example, for which our products come with Prince or iPad to encrypt and decrypt your flash on the fly. And the reason why, and this is my favorite, is that all of these features have been abstracted in our secure provisioning tool, which I was a very big advocate for when I was working for ease of use. The tool makes it easy to test all of those features before going into production. And then it comes with another big plus, which is it was built on top of the SP SDK. So then you can use all of its outputs to make easy scripts to help you with going into production afterwards.
Terrific. And for our listeners who want to go a bit deeper, we do have full episodes on the SEC tool and SPSDK. So definitely check those out. All right, Arnold, platform is covered. What about application security? Same tools or something different?
Application security is where the customer has to secure their runtime environment, making sure that secure operations happen in a secure environment, which can be achieved using Trust Zone, for example. But another great example to protect your runtime is to have secure operations execute in a secondary core, which quite often gets overlooked. But in this case, our resource domain controllers on our platforms can help split functionality between cores so that parts of memory or even peripherals can only be accessed from a specific core. Now, unfortunately, we at NXP, we cannot gauge all the ways our customers want to use our products. So the way we try to help is by providing a vast number of examples in our SDKs, and more recently in the application code hub.
That secondary core example is such a great call out. I feel like that's one of those aha moments for developers. And finally, let's address compliance. Very top of mind right now, thanks to CRA. How is NXP helping customers stay ahead here?
So I think I speak for many people that I think that is what keeps many of them awake at night, because at its core, CRA means that everything that is connected must be secure, which is something that many standards and certifications have already been pushing for. One example is CSIP certification. CSIP is an acronym for Security Evaluation Standard for IoT Platforms. But NXP is working to achieve CSIP across most of its products to give customers confidence that they can more easily obtain certifications on top of those platforms. And so the same applies to CRA. Our teams are working tirelessly for a long time now to ensure that our products are compliant to their core.
That was fantastic, Arnold. Thank you. You helped connect customer requirements directly to our NXP technologies, which is exactly what our listeners need.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all, Arnold. You did a great job. As Bridgette said, you represented the architecture and the CTO team great. I'm sure they'll welcome you back and they'll be giving you high fives.
Hey, Marcom's part of CTO, so high five, same team over here.
That's true. That's true. All right. So the final question is really about the future. Arnold, if you had a crystal ball, what was one area that you would keep seeing coming up? What's the largest challenge and really the largest opportunity that you see in security? And where do you see maybe the largest advancements that are coming in the next few years?
As you know, the field of security is very broad and we'll never know what happens next, right? Basically, what we're currently working on is getting our products post-quantum secure and helping our customers secure their AI and machine learning use cases.
Wow, just wow. Kyle, we need to get more architects as guests on our episodes. Arnold, we may need you to help us recruit some others, but you've really helped us understand some very complex but important topics around security. And to close us out, where do we go for security insights beyond the EdgeVerse Techcast, of course?
One of the documents that I live by from NXP is the security primitive white paper. Some of the terms that I've used throughout the podcast, you can find back in the document explaining all the nomenclature of security, which is used daily. It could help our listeners understand the standards and certifications and what they're all about. And another document I would like to point out is our new healthcare white paper, which was written by my close colleagues from Belgium.
Excellent. All right, we'll put some of those in the episode notes. It's always great, Arnold. We've actually seen a lot of the listeners are clicking through on those links, so we encourage everybody to review those docs that you said are so valuable. Arnold, thanks again for joining the TechCast.
Seriously, this was one of those conversations that made security feel a lot more approachable, and thanks for your time, Arnold.
I want to thank you both. I really enjoyed being on today, so thank you very much.
And to our listeners, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure to share with a friend. We would appreciate the endorsement, or recruit a friend to come join us as a guest. And take time to help us make the show more relevant in the YouTube and Spotify algorithms by subscribing and turning on notifications.
And until next time, everyone, keep innovating, keep looking at more ways to learn about security, and we'll catch you on the next EdgeVerse Techcast.